the universe we see might not exist at all. Things like a star-filled sky, the passage of time, or the world we live in, these seemingly obvious elements, might in fact be nothing more than a thin veil reflected from a higher dimension. So what about the real universe? Perhaps it is hidden in the fifth dimension, a realm we can never reach, not even imagine its true shape. Yet this is exactly the question that more and more scientists are trying to explore. If the fifth dimension truly exists, then the entire universe, including ourselves, might just be a projection, a stretched image from another reality. And all of this points to a terrifying possibility. You and I may have never truly existed. So, if even the most fundamental concept of reality could be mistaken, how can we ever begin to properly understand what we call the universe? Throughout history, humans have believed that the universe is simply what we see in front of us. A starry sky above, solid ground below, the sun rising and setting, time passing second by second. We consider all of that as self-evident reality. From the ancient Babylonians mapping the stars, to the Greeks hypothesizing about other worlds beyond this one, and then to Newton and Einstein, whose mathematics and physics gradually sketched the detailed laws of the universe. We once thought we were uncovering the truth. But the strange thing is, every time we become confident in our understanding of the world, the universe seems to mock us, pulling back another curtain, revealing a deeper layer of mystery. In the early 20th century, Einstein revealed that time can slow down, space can bend, the speed of light is an absolute limit, and gravity is not an invisible force, but rather the warping of space-time. This discovery shook every foundation of human understanding. Even so, we still held firm to one belief, that if we could grasp the four-dimensional space-time, we could unlock the secrets of the universe. Until Edwin Hubble discovered that the universe is not just expanding, it is expanding at an accelerating rate. This acceleration defied every prediction made by physicists. Even stranger, no one knows what is driving this expansion, and thus the term dark energy was born. Is it possible that what we call dark energy doesn't originate from within the universe? Could there be another possibility that it is in fact a force coming from outside, something we cannot see or touch, yet is stretching the entire universe? In other words, a force beyond the universe itself. Imagine this, like a balloon continuously inflating under the pull of some invisible hand. What's even more astonishing is that this idea did not come from science fiction writers, but from actual scientists. Professor Charles Liu of the New York Observatory proposed a groundbreaking hypothesis. What if the four-dimensional space-time we live in is actually attached to a higher dimensional space? For example, a fifth dimension. In this model, the three spatial dimensions and one time dimension we know are nothing more than a thin membrane floating in a vast ocean of the fifth dimension. And the universe's expansion is not due to it inflating on its own, but rather because this membrane is being stretched outward in that higher dimensional space. Imagine a film of oil floating on the surface of water. It doesn't expand on its own. But if a current flows, or surface tension changes, or an external force acts on it, the film will distort, stretch, and spread out. Professor Liu suggests that the universe's expansion may be a similar process, driven by some kind of pulling or stretching force in the fifth dimension. If this turns out to be true, our entire understanding of the universe's accelerating expansion must be completely rewritten. In that case, dark energy would no longer be a mysterious internal power of the universe, but rather the influence of the fifth dimension, a hidden force in a higher layer of reality, controlling everything we can observe. And if we dare to think even more boldly, if our universe is merely a stretched membrane, then in that vast five-dimensional ocean, there could exist countless other cosmic membranes like ours. Each such universe would be an independent entity, unrelated to the others directly, but all floating within the same higher dimensional space. That leads to another chilling question. Is the universe we live in truly the only one? If our universe is merely a floating membrane in a five-dimensional ocean, so the next question is, in that invisible ocean, could there be other universes? Not just one or two, but countless ones, like air bubbles, constantly forming, expanding, and then bursting. This isn't just a fantasy from science fiction novels, but a serious hypothesis in physics, the theory of eternal inflation. This theory proposes that the Big Bang was not a singular event, but rather an ongoing process. In some regions of space, the expansion has stopped, forming local universes like ours. But in other areas, expansion continues and may never cease. This means, beyond the observable universe, there could exist an infinite number of other universes, each with its own physical laws, different fundamental constants, and even completely distinct structures of space and time. Put simply, our universe is like a small flower blooming in an endless meadow, and in unimaginably distant places, countless other flowers are also blooming in wild abundance. This leads to an even more profound question. If the multiverse truly exists, then everything we cherish, civilization, history, science, art, could simply be one tiny and random offshoot in a sea of infinite possibilities. We've long been accustomed to thinking of ourselves as the center of the universe, even if only emotionally. But under the multiverse hypothesis, we may not even amount to a speck of dust. Our existence in this bubble is simply because it happens to possess the conditions suitable for life. In countless other bubbles, there might exist even more bizarre universes. Ones where time flows backward, where gravity doesn't exist, or even universes where matter never formed. They coexist with us, but will never intersect. If we imagine the entire multiverse as a vast ocean, then the universe we can observe is just a single tiny drop within it. And what's even more terrifying is, we have no idea what lies beyond that drop. Some say that exploring the multiverse is pointless, because we will never be able to break out of our own bubble. But others firmly believe it is precisely this hopeless pursuit that defines the true greatness of humanity. Because even when we know we may never reach the answer, we keep asking the questions. Where do we come from? What are we? And in this infinite ocean of the cosmos, what does our existence truly mean? All of these questions ultimately lead to an even deeper mystery. If the multiverse truly exists, then who is the seed planter of it all? Is it the accidental product of natural laws, the design of an entity from a higher dimension, or is there no reason at all? Did everything simply emerge as an inevitability? At this point, concepts like five-dimensional space-time, the multiverse, dark energy, and external pulling forces, which once seemed disjointed and bizarre, begin to intertwine, forming a grand yet deeply alien picture. And within that picture, we are forced to confront and reflect on a timeless and weighty question. Do the things we see actually exist? While we're still struggling to understand five-dimensional space and multiverse theories, some scientists have proposed an idea even more unsettling. Perhaps the problem isn't how many dimensions the universe has or how many versions there are, but that everything we've seen from the very beginning is fake. Professor Donald Hoffman, a cognitive scientist at the University of California, Irvine, has put forth a groundbreaking perspective. Reality is just an interface designed for survival. What does he mean? Simply put, the stars, the ground, the trees, the rivers, even the people around you, may not be the true essence of the world. They are like beautifully designed folder icons on a computer screen. When you click on them, you can open and interact. But in reality, deep within the hard drive, what truly exists is a chaotic mess of data. The folder icon is just a simplified, user-friendly version that allows you to function and survive. It is not the actual essence of the data. Hoffman argues that the human sensory system was never meant to depict reality truthfully. Our brains, eyes, ears, and sense of touch, all of them, have one single goal: to help us survive, not to show us the truth. In other words, reality might be so complex that the human mind can never grasp it, and what we perceive is merely a simplified, disguised, and biologically optimized version tailored to our survival limits. The reality for survival that we perceive is not an unfounded suspicion, but the result of serious mathematical reasoning. Donald Hoffman has used evolutionary simulation models combined with game theory to conduct a series of experiments. The results revealed a striking truth. Organisms that tried to perceive the world as it truly is were eliminated in the evolutionary process. In contrast, those that simplified and filtered information based on survival needs were the ones that thrived and evolved. In Hoffman's view, space and time aren't even fundamental structures of the universe. They are like folder icons on a computer screen, an interface designed by evolution to help us survive, not the foundational reality itself. If this theory holds true, then not only the starry sky, time, and matter are illusions, but even our body, language, logical thinking, and what we call reason are just icons on a user interface. Truth, the real foundation of everything, has been hidden away in a place we may never reach. It's like using your phone to capture a beautiful landscape photo. You're unaware of the frantic calculations happening behind the screen, the changing voltages, the blinking transistors. All you care about is whether the photo looks beautiful or not. The survival interface deceives us in the same way. So now comes the bigger question. If reality is just an interface, then what lies beyond it? If space and time themselves can vanish, then could the true structure of the universe go far beyond anything we've ever imagined? At this point, Hoffman's theory begins to strike at the very foundations of the entire modern scientific system. Because if even space-time is an illusion, then all sciences, physics, astronomy, cosmology, built upon it, may also be illusions. Compared to the five-dimensional space-time hypothesis, Hoffman pulls back the curtain on an even deeper fear. It's not that we misunderstand the universe, it's that we were never capable of seeing its truth in the first place. And that is more brutal than any science fiction scenario of alien invasion or multiverse collapse. Because it means, no matter how hard we try in our quest for discovery, what we see will always be just elegant icons on a display, and the gateway to the underlying fundamental world may never open before human eyes. If our perceptions are just an interface, if space and time are mere illusions crafted for survival, then a sharper, more painful question begins to emerge. So what truly is existence? At this point, we can no longer avoid mentioning a core element, consciousness. Each of us can feel the existence of our own being. No matter what the external world may be, we know we are experiencing, thinking, and feeling. This subjective state, one that only the individual can perceive, is what philosophers call qualia, a type of experience that cannot be reduced or fully expressed through language or objective analysis. The strange thing is, even today, science still cannot explain why electrical signals in the brain, nothing more than neural impulses, can give rise to experiences like love, pain, hope, or loneliness. If the brain is just an arrangement of matter, then why does an inner voice echo within it? Why is there consciousness at all? Traditional science claims that consciousness is just a natural byproduct, arising when matter reaches a certain level of complexity, like a flame igniting when wood is burned. But the problem is, while we can use physics to describe how neurons transmit signals, we still cannot deduce what pain feels like or where it comes from. This is what's known as the hard problem of consciousness, one of the greatest challenges in modern philosophy and science. Some scientists and philosophers have proposed an even bolder hypothesis. Perhaps matter is not the foundation of the universe. Consciousness is. From this perspective, the universe is not a rigid, mechanical system assembled from blind physical particles. Instead, it is a vast and living network of information. And consciousness is the most fundamental component of that network, just as electrons are essential in an electrical circuit. Donald Hoffman has also proposed a similar theory. He suggests reality might be formed by countless conscious agents interacting with one another, much like a social network. Each conscious agent is an independent node, and these nodes interact in ways that transcend space and time. The world we perceive is merely the image projected onto our survival interface, emerging from the interactions of these conscious entities. If this hypothesis is true, then the entire universe may be nothing less than a vast network of consciousness. And each of us, though seemingly small, is an indispensable part of that network. From this viewpoint, the movement of galaxies, the burning of stars, or even the expansion of space are no longer just cold physical phenomena, but rather macro expressions of conscious interactions. Dark energy, when viewed from a new perspective, is no longer just a mysterious, repulsive force. It may in fact be the dynamic manifestation of transformations within a vast network of consciousness. If that sounds like science fiction, perhaps it's because we've become too accustomed to treating consciousness as a mere byproduct, a random outcome of brain activity, rather than the core of the universe's structure. Just as people in the Middle Ages could not accept that the Earth was not the center of the cosmos, today we may be standing at the edge of a great intellectual revolution, one where everything we once assumed to be obvious may soon be overturned. The question is, if consciousness is the true foundation, then is this vast ocean of awareness a spontaneous emergence of nature, or is it being subtly woven by a higher entity that resides beyond our grasp? And within that web of consciousness, how miraculous is our own tiny node of awareness? The contemplation of the relationship between consciousness and the universe does more than redefine the concept of reality. It breaks down the deepest boundaries of human perception, those we once thought were untouchable. Because it reminds us, perhaps we do not simply exist in the universe, but are, in fact, an inseparable part of it. As we step back and keep stepping back to observe the universe from the broadest possible view, a strange phenomenon begins to reveal itself. From the scale of cells to galaxy clusters, even the largest observable structures in the cosmos, they all follow an astonishingly similar pattern. Branching trees, networks of blood vessels, the flow of rivers, the neural architecture of the brain, the filaments connecting galaxies, even the vast-scale structure of the entire universe. All of these seemingly unrelated systems follow a common principle: fractals. Fractals are a special kind of geometry found in nature. They possess the ability to self-replicate and self-scale. No matter how much you zoom in, you still see the same pattern emerge. Like the branches of a tree, each small twig mirrors a miniature version of the larger limb. This structure seems to be whispering a message to us, that perhaps the entire universe, from inside to out, from micro to macro, is simply a series of expressions of one single underlying principle. A principle that transcends matter, time, and space. A principle that may very well originate from consciousness itself. Each vein on a leaf seems to be a miniature image of the entire forest. Scientists have long recognized that matter in the universe is not evenly distributed, but forms a vast structure known as the large-scale structure of the universe, stretching out like cosmic filaments. Galaxies align along these threads, and at the intersections they form massive galaxy superclusters, while enormous empty regions, cosmic voids, lie in between. Viewed from afar, the entire universe resembles a colossal cosmic web, intricately interwoven and layered. This raises the question, why does everything, from microscopic biology to the vastness of space, seem to follow the same kind of model? Is it mere coincidence, inevitability, or is there a deeper system of laws at work that we have yet to understand? Some theories suggest that fractal patterns may be the fundamental operating logic of the universe. Just like in computer programming, where a short recursive function can generate incredibly complex visuals through repetition, the universe might be a kind of algorithm far beyond our imagination, one that continuously replicates, constructs, and evolves itself. In this framework, the distribution of galaxies is not random, and life is not accidental. All of it could be the natural expression of an invisible set of laws. In other words, the universe is not chaos, but a patterned, ordered expansion. Stars, planets, life, even ideas, may all be different expressions of the same underlying code that runs and grows. This leads us to the next question: who wrote that code? If a foundational program of the universe truly exists, did it emerge spontaneously from chaos, or is it the product of a higher intelligence, a cosmic programmer? Or perhaps, thinking even further, could the universe itself be a form of self-operating intelligence? If that sounds like science fiction, consider the history of human science. Every bold idea when first introduced has been called absurd. People once believed the sky was a transparent dome and the stars were glowing lanterns hanging above. They believed the Earth was flat and at the center of the universe. But every time we think we've understood the world moves beyond our understanding. Every time humanity thinks it has understood the world, the universe lets out a cold, quiet laugh, and then tears open a new abyss. And now, clues once thought to be unrelated, fractal structures, the hidden code of the universe, multidimensional space-time, the network of consciousness, are gradually fitting together into a new picture. A picture that is more complex, more bizarre, yet more thrilling and full of hope than anything we have ever imagined. If there truly is a hidden program behind the universe, if the universe not only obeys laws but can give rise to consciousness, then an even more staggering question arises. Could the universe itself be a conscious entity? Not metaphorically, like when we speak of a living cosmos, but literally, a vast, unimaginably complex conscious being. And we, human beings, are simply a small part of that experience. We are tiny drops within an infinite ocean of awareness. If this is true, then all of our perspectives about ourselves and the world must change. We are no longer distant observers of the universe, no longer lonely specks of dust gazing up at the endless night sky. We are part of the universe, experiencing itself. Through billions of years of evolution, in every fleeting spark of life, the universe is seeing itself through our eyes, feeling itself through our emotions, questioning itself through our doubts. Imagine this. You are a neural endpoint of the cosmos. Every thought you have is a quiet experiment the universe is running on itself. And when you lift your head to gaze at the stars, when you're moved to tears by the vastness of space, perhaps, on a higher plane of consciousness, it is the universe, looking back at itself through you. If the universe truly possesses consciousness, how would it perceive us? Would it see us the way we view cells, countless tiny entities, yet vital and inseparable? Or the way we perceive a neural network, where every connection and flicker is part of a unified awareness? Perhaps the universe would neither judge nor look down from above. Perhaps it would merge with us entirely in infinite forms to experience hope and despair, to experience creation and destruction, to experience love and loneliness. Because if you have ever truly reflected deeply, you might come to realize the universe has never been a cold, mechanical machine. From the very first explosion, it created the elements, gave birth to stars, to planets, and eventually, to life that could ask questions about its own existence. The ocean, life, civilization. Each step in development is not the result of chaotic randomness, but a journey of evolution, becoming more complex, more organized, and richer in information. This is not accidental accumulation, but a profound unfolding from within. Perhaps it is because the universe needs to be experienced that we exist. Every individual consciousness, every silent thought, every moment of loneliness in the night, every quiet yet unwavering struggle is not meaningless. All of it is part of the process through which the universe becomes aware of itself. So when you lift your head to look at the star-filled sky, please don't think of yourself as too small to matter. You are a part of the universe. Every one of your experiences, joy and sorrow, rise and fall, love and despair, adds richness to the existence of the cosmos. Perhaps what we call meaning has never come from outside. Perhaps existence itself is meaning. Like this, a tree, simply by existing, becomes the landscape. A star, simply by burning, becomes time. And a heartbeat, when it echoes, is the universe feeling itself. If the universe truly has consciousness, then perhaps our entire lives, our happiness and pain, gains and losses, love and hatred, are the gift the universe gives to itself.